Welcome back to Tanares Adventures. Man, I gotta keep correcting myself on this. I'm always messing it up. So Tanares RPG. There we go. Tanares RPG. Although I guess this one does include some stuff about Tanares Adventures. So yeah, let's say it's Tanares Adventures too. Anyway, Flanks06 back here again. Gonna do a Kickstarter update and discussion. And that's probably going to be it tonight. I got some things going on, so I can't do like a real long stream or go into doing some gameplay or anything like that. But we'll hopefully try to get some of that stuff going soon. Okay, so update number 11. This one came out on Wednesday this week. They're still maintaining their like 3-ish or so days apart of updates. Unfortunately, I kind of wish that it was a little bit more frequent, like what we used to get before. But apparently that's not the case. But it could pick up here near the end because we are now less than a week away from the end of this campaign. It says that it ends on September 30th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So not much time left to get your stuff in, pick out what you want, and get this whole campaign wrapped up. All right, let's get to update number 11. So special deluxe slipcase all miniatures part 1. So obviously this seems to indicate that there's going to be something else as a part 2 come up. So quick news: French joins Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and German as one of the translated languages, including Power Decks and GM List Pack, which actually is even a little more news than what we had before, where we knew, like, for example, Portuguese and German was definitely going to be, the books were going to be translated, but the question of the Power Decks and the GM List Pack was a little bit more up in the air, but now that is confirmed. So this is really great for a lot of our international backers who probably are not even watching this video, but we still support everyone in the community, whether you speak English or not. And I'm excited for you guys that we can include some other languages in here, and be able to give everyone the chance to enjoy this game and this RPG. Next thing, deluxe slipcase. We'll talk about here soon. Chapter 9, Chapter 10, Chapter 9 complete, Chapter 10 stretch goals revealed, then some stuff on subclasses, and then you get to see the miniatures. It's questionable here. We're talking about not exactly the prints of the miniatures, but more final sculpts and renders, looks like. So we'll get to that here soon. And then there's the projects we love thing, which usually we kind of skip anyway, but if you'd like to check that out, definitely check it out below. All right, deluxe slipcase. So if you didn't know, we've been doing this online puzzle recently. It's kind of interesting. So it's been happening only in the comments section. So besides that last update where they were talking about this puzzle coming, it's been happening completely in the updates. So there's been multiple ones. The community has been working together to getting these answered, and it's actually been pretty fun. Dragori is always really good with their puzzles, and they definitely haven't stopped there. Now I know this isn't going to be for everyone. There's a lot of looking at maps. There's going to be looking into the different sample and RPG books, and then even a little bit into kind of the past Kickstarter updates that you have to do to figure it out. But it's been pretty fun process to do that. So in the process of that, we've quote unquote unlocked additional community items, and one of those is the special deluxe slipcase. So you'll see it here. You'll notice that this eye moves because that is sounds like a holographic eye picture. So, and then of course you'll see that the inside is still like it was before, but now the exterior is a white color with a red banding and gold emblems on it, and then the holographic dragon eye, which is pretty cool. Not, maybe not something for everybody, but pretty cool addition there. Something else to kind of give your books a more cosmetic premium feel. That's obviously been a pretty big item or theme of a lot of the things in this Kickstarter, giving you more premium feel on the board game, giving you premium feel on the RPG and miniatures. So anyway, so it's $9 to add the deluxe slipcase to your order. Just as a note, if you do that currently, based on the information that we know, you would replace the black slipcase that comes with Essential Kit and higher. So you won't get the black one. You'd get this white special deluxe slipcase. People have been asking if it's possible to still get two, but it sounds like there might be some manufacturing logistics issues with that. Potentially getting the black case damaged if you had the books in there or you had the white one separately. So anyway, currently it's either this case or the black case, which is free, like I said, if you get Essential Kit or higher. But this one is like the special edition, basically. So if you're interested in that, add the $9. You go to your Manage Pledge, and it's in the add-on sections. Okay, moving on. Chapter 10 is revealed, which you've pretty much already blown through this. We'll get through the next things coming up, but we've already been blowing through this, getting an extra spider, getting more some locations for the poster map, the source book. Here's the case. We've already unlocked this extra stat blocks for 67 miniatures in Tanares Adventures. This is a digital item. So it says all pledges. That includes digital books. Um, so just to clarify, this sounds like it's going to be for the RPG, but it's using Tanares Adventures like bad guys and creating them as it sounds like monsters in like the source books. So but it's a digital item on there, so you'd have to get the 3 digital books or higher, which I think that one's at like $69. So anyway, then the next thing, which we've already unlocked here and was kind of a shock to a lot of us, was the female Redeemer hero. So previously, what we've been seeing is the alternate gender heroes, which is really awesome, but it's only been the miniature. Now, we noticed that it said, well, this says specifically hero, and then of course everyone was asking about it because one of the ideas behind why Dragori wasn't creating a lot of these other alternate gender as heroes was because it's a lot of additional development work to make them into the board game. Well, I even actually got to talk to Michael this week, the lead designer at Dragori Games, and he's a pretty great guy. He already told me, he's like, I'm gonna be putting in those extra hours. I mean, he's already working pretty crazy hours. I think he's working like 14-hour days or more. But he wants to make sure that these new miniatures, that if we're providing these, that actually have something more to them than just being an alternate miniature. So he is working on or going to be working on designing these as heroes as well. So I mean, I personally think that's great. I know a lot of people have been asking for more and more heroes. We'll talk about how many heroes that we already have later, but anyway, so I've super awesome, really exciting. Let's move on. All right, next is so miniatures. They talk a little bit about some of the items here in terms of helping you decide if you're into just the RPG and you want miniatures, or if you're interested in the board game. But and it's basically a little bit of a sales kind of pitch here on Tanares Adventures, and so we get to see some more renders of these miniatures here. So we got Lana the Valkyrie, one of the commander class heroes. Here's her companion that goes with all the commanders. Moving on here, we got the ogre. All of these miniatures come in the Tanares Adventures box. We got the construct here. I think the reason why Dragori showed this was not just to like help new backers, but also reaffirm with older backers that I don't know if we got all of the final renders. They showed some possible ideas, but it seems like that this is probably what it is. So we got the Basilisk here, who's going to be a villain. We got Orthus here, the hero commander. I did get to name that character, so you're welcome. Then we got Orthus companion here, his Cerberus. Then we have the Fiend. This one is actually an addition that wasn't in the Tanares Adventures campaign. It came last year in January when Dragori knew that they had to do an additional delay due to some of the development time and everything, that they wanted to still reward backers and feel like, you know, hey, you're going to get something at least for this additional delay. So they created this new Fiend villain here, which is a pretty freaking awesome miniature. I hope he's pretty awesome in the campaign, because that's too awesome a miniature to be like a guy that's a little bit weaker. So anyway, we'll see how that goes, but really cool artwork, really cool miniature. And let's move on. So we got Specter, the Specter villain, which we did know about before. I don't think she had that artwork before, though. The Aberration, still very similar miniature, but the artwork we hadn't seen before. Looks pretty good. Very Cthulhu-like there. Then we got Nero the Hero here. It's definitely stuff that we have actually seen before. The Kemet Warrior. Moving on, we got the Reaper of Villain. I think this was pretty close to that miniature before, but definitely the artwork we didn't have previously. Ogmir, the hero here. He was originally called like the Beastmaster, and then this was his beast. And now they got names and cards, artwork to go with them. We got Golug, the hero slash boss. If you follow the Tanares Adventures campaign, basically the story followed Golug as a child and kind of tied into the Tanares Adventures story. Then Yemi, this hero here, I believe she's cross. Oh, no, the succubus. That's what it was. She's not. She's a new hero succubus character. We got the farmer, which I know this isn't really one that we've seen before. I think it was like mentioned, but I don't think there was a final sculpt or anything, and so we're getting to see this NPC character, farmer, who will probably be used in different quests. And then we have the Kemet Necromancer villain. We have seen this one pretty recently, actually. So that's pretty awesome. Then we got Magenta crossover hero here. Then we got the Kemet Spy villain, which honestly, like, we had seen this artwork before, but this was basically someone had pulled this picture off of like the artist's catalog. And it looked freaking awesome, and I still think it's super awesome. In fact, I almost feel like it's kind of an injustice that this character is only a villain and not a hero, because, I mean, can you guys imagine what kind of concepts you could come up with, kind of like this spectral type assassin? I mean, I know we have Mir as an assassin, but like, this looks so awesome that this has got to be a hero. So if you want to come help design a hero character, you can do that in the Discord. We have a hero creation section. Go into the pinned area in that channel, and you can find the template and start filling out some ideas, and we can make something together. But anyway, I love that miniature. I'm super excited to see what that character will do as well. Then we got the dwarf villain here. We do have ghost dwarves in the original arena contest, but this is an alive dwarf this time. And I don't think this. I think it's pretty close to what the render was before. I think it's a little bit altered, but that artwork is definitely new as well. All right, Gargoyle, very similar to what we've seen before, villain character. Colette, the hero, who I think maybe a little bit of a modification, but doesn't look that different from what we've seen before. There's Colette's companion, who is the mummy. We have Nynx, if that's pronounced correctly. This is the crossover character from, I'm not even sure what the game is now. I knew like Nero, for example, from Black Rose Wars, but I didn't know all the other characters. This one could be from Madara, but I'm not as sure. So if you know, make sure to correct me. They definitely improved her miniature from what we all had seen previously, which is always good to get that additional feedback. Lord Roth, hero character, another crossover heroes, I think from Chronicles of Drunganor, but I could be wrong on that as well. Skara, another crossover hero. Cultist villain. I believe that there was a cultist, but I think the miniature has a little bit more detail than what we've seen before, and then of course not this artwork. So really, I think one of the biggest things is we're getting seeing a lot of this artwork that didn't exist before. Kemet Archer villain, definitely saw this guy before. Still looks very similar. The ghoul here we knew was a work in progress, but now um, is definitely much improved. He looks way better. In fact, this is way more vicious than I actually anticipated. Previously, it didn't have this like dead body here. It was just like the ghoul eating this bone, and that was it. And now they've added this, so it's a lot more intense than it was before. But personally, I like it. Gregory, hero from another crossover hero. Then we have the Halfling Rider, which was another development miniature, but they were getting pretty close on this one before, so it's not too different. I think there was some concept photos that kind of had the same idea, but looks pretty awesome there, like a boar he's riding. We got the lady, which is one that we hadn't seen before, but she's an NPC character. Someone mentioned how tall she is, which is pretty true. I mean, proportion-wise, like she's got to have pretty long legs, but for how long that dress is along with the base. But anyway, then we have this elemental. We did see this one before. He is a villain character. We got the Harpy villain character. This is definitely a new artwork that we hadn't seen before. Herodotus. I'm sure I'm screwing up his name. Another crossover hero, very similar to what we saw before, and same artwork as well. And then we get this zombie. I'm just going to call him Fat Zombie because that's probably what everyone in my board game group is probably going to end up calling him because he looks like a pudge. And he's even got like his intestines and stuff coming out. It's pretty cool. Can't wait to see what that looks like in real life. And definitely the artwork there we hadn't seen before as well. We have an Ariel here, one of the new heroes who actually is also on the player's guide because she was a popular enough character that everyone really wanted to see her on one of the RPG books. And then down here, they start going into Arena the Contest. So if you want to see what's in Arena the Contest, there's an unboxing video by Dragori. I also have one, of course. And then there's many other YouTubers that have these as well if you'd like to see any of the characters in there. All right, moving on. Next, we have the subclasses. So we've already gone over Chaos Domain for the Cleric, Way of the Kinetic Fist for the Monk, The Wizard School of Lost Magic, we talked a little bit about this one before. Dragonbait of Kelroth, the White Dragon, this one was talked about a little bit before. There's Warlock Pact of the Avatar Dragon, which is, I think, a newer one here. So serve the godlike Avatar dragons, fulfilling their hidden agendas while wielding terrifying dragonic powers. So that sounds pretty exciting. I mean, unfortunately, we're basically just getting, like the names of these and maybe like, the themes, but we're not going to get any, at least for now, we're not getting deep, in-depth dives into the subclasses like we were with these two. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to just do these ones and not keep doing it with the rest. But I'm sure as the campaign gets over and we're, getting into the pledge manager and beyond, they'll keep putting out updates with additional information on these kind of subclasses. Then we got the Madwalker Trail of the Augury. Their madness can pierce into the veils of nightmares to foresee glimpses of the future, enabling them to avoid danger and surprise enemies. So that sounds pretty cool. If you've been missing my stream on the Tanares RPG sample, you should definitely check that out. We're going to be starting the third session this Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. So make sure to check that out. We're getting near the end of it. If we'll finish, I'm not exactly sure, but I'd prefer if we can try to get it done, but we'll see. Then we got the Redeemer Shepherd. This was shown as a stretch goal before. These often charismatic community leaders are capable of convincing the masses, specializing in spreading their powers as well as they spread their word. The Barbarian Path of the Savage Hunter. Focus your rage and mark prey and gain all sorts of unique advantages against it, including bonuses to track, find, or hide from them. I really like this artwork. It's such a badass looking character. You kind of always wish that you could get like all of these characters. I mean, this guy is actually going to be a character, but all of these other characters as miniatures, obviously you'll never be able to get them all, but she looks pretty freaking sweet. Then we got the Bard College of Life. That's Jade there, obviously. Study the fine arts of mixing soothing sounds and healing to become a source of peace and courage for your allies. There's actually, I think, one more right here that we'll talk about here soon. But that's pretty much it for the update. Next is the projects that we love. So let's show where we're up to date right now. And then we'll move into the couple other topics that I wanted to talk about, and then we'll be wrapping up after that. All right, we are 1,663,735 with 8,124 backers, 6 days to go. So we're doing pretty good. We're quite a bit higher than even that last update. So they've condensed this list now into this PDF page here if you want to see. There's 14 different collaborators. I think most of these have been mentioned before. It's possible they could add more, but looks like at least with them moving this that maybe that might be the list, but it could be updated. So we'll see. So quite a few collaborators, a lot of stuff we've seen before. You'll notice that the stretch goal got moved now. They've updated this graphic one time, but I think it's actually already a little bit out of date here. It says 31 miniatures. By my count, there's 74 miniatures in the RPG campaign now. The possibility is 31 miniatures for them may be counting the number of sculpts of miniatures versus my count of 74 miniatures is the total number of miniatures that you're actually going to.
Have you counted miniatures from the stretch goals or all of them? 31 stretch goal miniatures.
Whoa, hold on. My headset disconnected. What's up, XR?
Yeah, it's probably 31 stretch goal miniatures.
That's right. That's probably right. So I'll actually talk about the things that we've already unlocked here really soon. All right, then we got pledges. They've been slowly updating some of these different like packs, which is actually further down here, but they haven't updated them all. So we'll talk about that. All right, crossovers. This is new. So they got the Trudvang by Riot Minds. So personally, I'm not really that familiar with this. Are you, XR?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. It says the Lindworm is both worshipped and feared in Trudvang. There are no doubts that it is a dragon beast, even if many believe to be its own species. They dwell in their own vast underground burrows and are commonly encountered in Midland. Um, so already from some of the comments that I've seen in the Kickstarter is it sounds like they may be trying to put this into the RPG and potentially maybe a miniature at some point, but it's definitely going to make a showing in the RPG, which previously there wasn't any official crossover type stuff other than the items, whatever items that already exist for D&D. So so that's definitely new, exciting thing there. You can click this link here, and it actually
Well,
takes.
hold your horses, as I cannot see him right now.
You can't see what.
At I'm checking the page again. Um, Before he was on writable reviews, I think.
Oh, they already updated again? No, they moved it. They moved
Oh,
it.
yeah, I'm
Yeah, because
scrolling
I just
from background.
refreshed.
Yeah.
I just refreshed it. They moved it. The crossovers used to be at the bottom, and now they moved it up. So. Anyway, so real quick, yeah, the page here, if you want to learn more about what Trudvang Adventures is, and what all the stuff looks like they have a late pledge as well if you're interested in whatever it is that they're offering here. Obviously, it looks like another RPG type book. I don't know if it's a 5e
It
game.
looks like.
I mean, it kind of looks like it, but I did not really go through what this campaign is off. Oh yeah, here it is, a new
It,
setting for 5e.
yeah.
So yeah. All right. Anyway, so then you'll see the deluxe slipcase was added. Power decks are there. Gold Dragon, all that. Character pack. You'll see that they've been changing these locks here, but even that was updated a while ago. I'll talk about the numbers here at the end. Just trying to double check. I don't think that there's any other big information on this page. I was just going to go down to the stretch goal. Oh no, here we go. The subclasses. All right, so we got the Rogue, the Trap Master. This is one that's not on that update, but they've been adding. So skillfully conceive and make traps, both with mechanical ingenuity and mystical tricks to ensnare and ambush enemies. So a little extra cool trappy rogue dude. And then the Fighter Death Knight, touched by the power of death, steal part of the victim's soul to feed off their strength and become more resilient. So that's pretty awesome as well. I don't know. Maybe I have a thing with like armored female characters, but they just look awesome in a lot of these artwork. It's probably just me. I have a preference for that, but anyway. All right, Chapter 12, which was previously named Chapter 8, and then which got corrected. They took that down, renamed it, then changed a bunch of the stretch goals. So this is actually already changed from since then. All right, so we finished Chapter 10 here. Here's Chapter 11, which we've already finished, which is the 2 extra portals. We have the male Madwalker as a hero. We have more investigation, Chapter 2, missing persons for the GM-less adventure deck, 10 more cards. We get some more characters and monster stat blocks in the Dragon Collection and the Madness box, so they're tying even more of the board game content and putting it into the RPGs at what it sounds like. Then cards with RPG stat blocks here for the character pack. I think this one's been a little bit more unclear, but it sounds like it's for just for the RPG. All right, this is a pretty exciting here one for a lot of people. Rogue subclass Ninja. So another subclass for the rogue class is unlocked. The ninja, you'll notice that this lady here, if you've watched any of my previous videos, looks pretty familiar, and it's definitely not without reason for that, because she's going to be part of what's coming next. And when I say next, I don't mean like tomorrow or next week. I mean like probably in like 10, 12 months from now, depending on kind of what goes on. But the next Dragori board game project. So hopefully we should probably be getting a miniature for her before the end, and we know that because the boss versus boss rulebook actually shows, and this is in the revised rulebook, by the way, not the one that came out in the Dragon Collection. There's already a revised version that has this ninja's picture in there. Let's get to a question here real quick. Backing for cards and miniatures. What do you think of that content? Back to previous 2 Kickstarters, having trouble figuring out the valuation. You know what, Larry? I'm really glad you actually asked that question. Right after I finish this stretch goal discussion here, I'm going to talk about that exact point. That was one of the topics I was going to talk about today. All right, so chapter 12 here. So these are items that we haven't unlocked yet, but it's not going to be too hard to get to. It's 9,000 away from the last stretch goal. So we get the male elementalist as a hero now. We've already unlocked like these miniatures, but now they're also heroes. Magic item pack. I think they've even already modified it even since I looked a little bit earlier. So they've combined some of these items. So there's going to be these wondrous items for the source book, then a new spell for each circle in the player's guide, some more RPG items. Then the female Dragon Blade, which we had the miniature for, will also become a hero. And that's now 10K apart. Previously, they were at like 4K. So they upped it a little bit, but they've also kind of condensed some of these rewards. Like, for example, this one here, 12 advanced one-shot and level 1 character sheets plus backstory for the arena heroes. So this is going to be pre-gen character sheets that sounds like is going to be, you could use for a one-shot for level 1 or potentially higher level advanced. We don't know exactly what level or where in the progression that is, but sounds like it'll be higher, which was something people were kind of asking for. That I mean, I'm glad they're offering both, because there was good points both ways of, you could do a time travel type scenario of saying, "Ooh, it's Avalon in his early days when he was, just beginning his journey as a wizard and was, getting into the arena fights and everything, and then, then the possibility of also having those advanced type characters of maybe where the story is now." So anyway, that's a lot of really exciting stuff. You'll also notice that they've been doing this titling here, which I mentioned real quickly, of starting at chapter 10, the calm before the, and then, right, many of us are expecting the storm, which very good possibility they could release pretty big miniature stretch goal, especially getting at 17. 100K is getting pretty up there. I'd also like to note that at 1684, which actually isn't a stretch goal on here, I'm curious if they'll do anything, but that's the amount that the Tanares Adventures campaign received. So we're actually really close to achieving that right now. We're at 1664, so we're exactly like basically about 20K away. That's pretty exciting. I really that was my minimum goal for this campaign, was that they would at least exceed the Tanares Adventures campaign. Even though they haven't delivered the Tanares Adventures campaign, I think more and more people have become aware of Dragori and the games that they've already offered. Now we have the Dragon Collection, and more people. In fact, this week we've been getting flooded now with a bunch of people saying they finally got their boxes. So more and more people are enjoying the game. In fact, I'm sure that's where a lot of people are at tonight, not even watching, but playing their games, which is great. Definitely go and enjoy your games. You can always come back and watch my videos later. They ain't going anywhere. All right. So we talked about these. All right, let's talk about my other main points here. So, uh, value. Value was one of the main items I wanted to talk about. So, of course, there's been a lot of discussion about the cost of the pledges, and it's getting pretty pricey. As you can see, my pledge here, $3.93. Now, obviously, I'm getting all the additional special add-ons and stuff like that, but you don't need that. There's a lot of the slipcase, those power deck things, which basically is a convenience factor. It's not really a needed item in any way. But if you want that convenience factor and the simplicity, then it's there. Slipcase, really awesome. Also, definitely not a needed thing. Um, then, of course, Golden Dragon was free for the people that backed in the first 24 hours. So let's talk a little bit more. Let's focus less on the super kit, because this is fulfilling more a specific type of people that want to play the RPG and they want all the cool miniatures. But the people that are picking specifically, like Larry here was mentioning, picking the miniatures and cards. So, I'm assuming you mentioned that you backed the previous two Kickstarters. Kind of why should you back miniatures and cards? Well, let's talk about what currently we see the miniatures and cards pledge has. So I mentioned this earlier. Currently, my count is, and I could be incorrect, but we're at 74 miniatures that have been unlocked or are provided through the miniatures and cards pledge. So that's penumbral pack, scenario pack, class pack, character pack, villain pack, and then those stretch goals that are related to them. Now, the number of stretch goal heroes that are offered is 6 stretch goal heroes that have been unlocked. Now, I could, when I was making this list, was actually this morning, and so I went based on whatever stretch goal information we had at the time, and they've already been changing it already. So I could be a little bit off. So hopefully I don't get dinged by you all on this later, but that's what I'm seeing so far. There are 4 heroes that are a part of the classes pack. So that's and when I say this, I mean there's 4 heroes that are base in the classes pack. There's 1 hero that's in the villain pack. There's 2 heroes in the mystical pack. The mystical pack is free for returning backers that have joined this campaign and are backing at this pledge level. So if you're one of those people, you're already getting this item for free. So Dragori's pricing it at $29. So if you wanted to pretend like that's part of the pricing in there, then basically we're down to 150 here because you're getting that for free. The Gold Dragon was free if you backed in that first 24 hours, which is another $29. So that would bring us down to what's that? 129? Is that about right? Maybe it's 121. Might be a little bit lower than the essential kit. Let's make sure we're doing this right. 179 minus 129, 150 minus another 29, 121. So I did have that correct. So the essential kit, which is the next lowest pledge, is at 129. So you're technically saving a little bit more on than the essential kit is worth. Now, obviously, it's different content, so it's not really as applicable. But anyway, let's get back to what items are. So 4 heroes that are part of just the classes pack, and not talking about stretch goals. 1 in the villain pack, 2 in the mystical pack, 2 in the character pack, and then of course those 6 stretch goal characters we've unlocked so far. So in total, this campaign is offering 15 new heroes. So for any people that maybe have forgotten or don't know, the core box offers 12 heroes with Arena the Contest. When I say core box, Tanares Adventures offers 23 characters, so there's a little bit more in there currently. And then in the first campaign, there was the Heroes and Dungeons characters that were also 12 more heroes in that one. You could get it like in a bundle, or you could individually buy it. But that expansion had 12 characters in that. And then for the full pledge from the first campaign, you could get Benaris and Askren were also included in that full pledge. And then we unlocked through stretch goals a couple other heroes, which were Oris the monk, and then I'm blanking on his name right now. What's the last bruiser XR that I'm forgetting? Oris, Veneris, Askren, and then Rankier, of course. So Rankier was the other community, basically stretch goal from the first campaign, and then we also got the original Huron and the Glorious Emperor, or not? I'm sorry, the Faceless Emperor were offered in that campaign. So we've already talked a little bit about how these are being quote unquote reworked, but really rework doesn't justify what's really happening. These are new sculpts. There's new hero pads, new attack cards. So really, they're different characters, and they're different characters at a different point in time. So it's really like a new character than necessarily just getting a new miniature reworked like what we had before. Okay. Oh man, of course we get another update
Yep,
mid my
with minis.
update. Oh god. I feel like they do this to me on purpose. Oh God. Okay, let me finish my point here, and then we'll quickly look at that new update. All right, so 15 heroes this campaign, 23 in Tanares Adventures, and then 31 between between Arena the Contest and all the stretch goal type items. So legendary box if you don't have that. And then the Dragon Collection with the Dragon Queen makes 31 heroes that are offered. And I could be slightly wrong. We do have a spreadsheet that tracks all this, but basically, if we're just looking at that information that we have now, we have 70 heroes that we're going to be able to play with. That's an absurd amount of heroes, especially
It's not too
because
many.
if you talk about even in Tanares Adventures, you're going to play 2 different groups of heroes that are going at the same time. That's going to be 8 heroes. So I think it's like essentially you could play like 9 different times. Well, and this could vary because there's different so you have to have like people that are within certain archetypes. So you have to have like a striker and a guardian and a support and whatever. One of them's like a healer, and then one's a support that fulfills the controller slash tactician archetype. But anyway, so not counting exactly that because there could be some like variation in there, and some of the characters are special. Um, Basically, you could probably play at least like 9 times and have different characters each time, which is just absolutely crazy. So that's a ton of heroes, and I know that is one of the best things about that, all the different combinations of heroes together. But it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. So I can understand if some people think it's already too much at this point. All right, let's talk about what else this campaign's offering. We got 2 bosses. So the Penumbral Dragon and the Gold Dragon are both usable in Boss versus Boss and Tanares Adventures. Then the Gold Dragon can also be used in Arena the Contest. There is a one versus all quest in Arena the Contest that uses the Gold Dragon, but you just use a standard miniature. So they're not, I wouldn't say it's like insanely high usage or something in ATC, but um, it can still be used. But the Penumbral Dragon, of course, also coming with his talisman card for boss versus boss as well. So there's those uses there. We have, and this is my card count from earlier, so it could change. 8 item cards, 4 villain cards in the character pack, and this is just the character pack. There's 5 overlord cards that come in the villain pack, and that is basically what that is kind of how Tanares Adventures is changing how you fight in the campaign. Uh, they're using like these cards essentially instead of using the quest book. So this is essentially going to be able to let you kind of use these those characters like the Shield Golem and Gazini and Cordal and everything, and have a card for them instead of just having looking in the quest book for it. Then we have 5 villain cards that are also in the villain pack. There's also like those goblins in there, which weren't mentioned at all, but I believe goblins already have like a villain card that comes with Tanares Adventures, so that's probably why that one wasn't included. Then we have the Time Twist Epic Campaign, which is a standalone story, which is being offered in here. This was like one of the stretch goal items way down here, I believe. I thought it was before. It might have been way lower than this. About the 300 point. So 7 different quests in there, and basically it's kind of like it's exceeding what happens with Tanares Adventures and the Epic Campaign, and even after the Realms of Madness. So there's even more there. So there's quite a bit of stuff in this miniatures and cards pledge. Now I've said this before, say it again, but I'm just going to say that this is very much an RPG focused campaign. So even all of these items that can be used in the board game is only essentially half of it, right? Because if you're going to be role playing and you're going to be playing this setting that's coming with this RPG, you have these characters that you can use. Sure, you could proxy them with, whatever you want, which is perfectly fine, but this is also giving you that ability. So if you play the board game and you do the RPG, I think you're going to get, a lot more out of it. If you're not going to be doing the RPG, then obviously there's going to be less value, but that's kind of the intent with offering these separate pledges of miniatures cards versus like the super kit, where the super kit offers the RPG items and the miniatures and cards. So anyway, you could even technically use any of these miniatures for your own D&D campaigns without even owning any of the RPG items if you really wanted to. So that's always kind of been on the table. Dragori has designed their game boards to even be like the size for playing D&D. So you could use like a blank map and create your own kind of like D&D map for combat without without needing to get like a separate like map or something like that. All right, so just going based on the numbers that I had here earlier, comes out to $2.42 rounded up here per miniature. Now, um, remember, this is not counting shipping or if you have a VAT, and the reason I didn't include this is because it's different for everyone. For example, I won't pay a VAT cost because personally where I live, they don't have that. Versus XR here, I believe you have to pay like a VAT cost, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, really, really hard to compare these costs for each individual person because it's going to vary so widely. And even between just that shipping part, and then some countries pay way more in VAT than others, or they have their own type customs, so it's really hard to compare, but that's what it is for me. So that's pretty decent price. I tried to look at just so I have I've mentioned this before, I have Reaper miniatures down the street from me. Their cheapest miniatures, standard type miniatures that I found was $2.99. Obviously, I could pick it up, don't have to pay shipping, obviously, but that's because they're right there. So still, it's about 60-ish cents cheaper with the Tanares RPG pledge than at least in this case. Now, I'm sure there's plenty other examples that could be used to compare between different miniatures, different board games, and if you have your own opinion on it, I'd love to hear how you guys feel. It's always a open conversation. Everyone feel free to if you're upset or you're happy about it, definitely let us know. Does that kind of help in your question, Larry? Did I make it more confusing, or are you a little less confused now? Hopefully he'll get back here soon. Um, anyway, so we're closing in here on the end of the campaign. Awesome. I'm glad you're a little less confused. So we're closing in here on the end of the campaign. Less than a week left. Not much time left. So if you haven't decided if you're even going to pledge yet, or if you're unsure if you're keeping your pledge or not, you know, you can always wait till the very end. And if you really just can't swing it, then don't worry about it. Also, if for example, let's say the pledge you have is too expensive now, and you need to save some money, don't worry about it. Like, drop down to a pledge that's manageable for you to afford. And then in like the month or so after this campaign ends, and I'm just estimating here on timeline, they're going to open up the pledge manager where you can change your pledge, or you could increase the amount of money for other items or add-ons or whatever if you want as well, and that's perfectly fine. And I believe in the past, I believe Dragori has still kind of honored some of those things. Like for example, if you were let's say you're at the essential kit, but you don't feel like you can afford getting the super kit right now, and you're a returning backer in this example, I'm pretty sure that if you change it to the super kit and you're a returning backer, they will probably add that mystical pack for you for free. Even though it didn't happen in the campaign, I think as long as you do it even by the pledge manager, they'll still allow it. Hey, Yamos Bond, good to see ya. Yeah, glad I went all in. Is there more? Oh, there's always more. If you don't have any of the board game stuff, you can even get deeper. We've all already emptied our wallets twice over here. All right, let's check out this update, because oh man, I was not hoping, didn't really expect that I'd have to throw an update here. Here we go, more stretch goal stuffs. All miniatures, part 2. So this is the part 2 that we were talking about before. So multiple purposes, which we were just talking about. Try to get you here a little bit more. Talk about the Gold Dragon character pack, So we're getting near the end. So Dragori can tell as well that they need to try to sell you on what there is before the end. Um, Also, as a note, there's painted options. One specifically, this got me earlier, and I've bothered them multiple times about this, but they still haven't updated it. If you go down to specifically like the penumbral pack, so like the Madness box, you'll see that there's like a upgrade or painted type option where you could upgrade your Madness box to a painted if you didn't do it in the last campaign. And then, of course, you can buy the painted Madness box if you're just jumping in for the first time. But the Penumbral pack here, very early on the campaign, they offered the Penumbral Dragon himself to be painted. And we talked about this in an earlier update. But they didn't ever update this graphic to show that. So the only way that you know that there's the painted option is me telling you, or you looking at that update that specifically says that, or you go up here to this pledge breakdown area, and you'll see they've kind of color coded this now, which this didn't happen before. But you go all the way down to these red area here, which is the painted options, and you'll see that there's the painted penumbral pack. It's only the dragon. Make sure to remember that. It's not all the items. It's just the dragon for $19. So anyway, that's one big item in my opinion that they've been missing on this campaign page. All right, let's go back to this update talking about the miniatures. So basically, Dragori's doing what I've already been telling you for the last 56 minutes. So I just saved you guys some reading. I'm sure they provide some even more in-depth ways that you'll be able to use like these characters. So to go check those out as well. They talk about how they're used in the RPG, how they're used in the board game for the Penumbral pack. Got the scenario miniatures. I'm kind of curious if they've added anything here. Malign towers, tracking and status. The fatigue, which marks the hero cannot act in portals and barricades. Okay, so they didn't really add anything else, but we see a little bit bigger pictures than we saw before of some of these items. I'm hoping that they're going to add a little bit more use to, like, for example, some of like this tower or something instead of just be like a fatigue marker. But and then the mystical pack, oh, look at that one. You see that, XR? We got the Emperor Unhinged. He's no longer the Glorious Emperor. They've already renamed him to the Emperor Unhinged. Oh, jeezy weezy. He's out of control, everyone. Look at that cape. He's holding flame here. He's got a big staff now. Looking like he's ready to kick some butt. All right. Then we got Sarah. We got Zalir. We got Haran. Looks like Haran is still in development, and the Tiger is still in development. Oh man, I was really hoping that this was going to be finished before then in the campaign. There's still more time, but hopefully they can get that done soon so we can see exactly what we're getting. A lot of these characters are going to be used as simplified classes. We've talked about this before, so basically you can play like a wizard without having to know a lot of complex different spells and do a full like character build. You got something a lot simpler and easier for people that are just trying RPG for the first time. So there's 4 different types of characters that you have here that can do that. They talked about chapter 10 and 11 here, which we already talked about ourselves. Then they're talking about here, chapter 12 revealed. And this all looks the same as we said. Can you feel the electricity in the air? In the coming chapters, we shall reveal some big stretch goals you simply cannot miss. Remembering that in our last 2 Kickstarters, more than 23% of the funds raised in the last 4 days, so we could have So we should be having exciting days ahead, perhaps a new stretch goal chapter revealed as early as Monday. All right, then the last thing looks here is tie into the new CMON campaign if you're interested in that. Okay. Anyway, so looks like I've already saved you guys some times from even having to read this whole thing. I'm sure they provide some really good details into a lot of these different items, but looks like that kind of covers a lot of that stuff. Emperor Unhinged, that's the exciting thing from that one. Let's read some questions here before we wrap up. I went all in Tanares Adventures, getting Arena my second copy. Ooh. Getting Painted Green Dragon. Did I get him already? I think I did. Link the free art book. That is great if it's not below. So the art book was technically a reward from the last campaign, but I've kind of been like secretly offering it to people anyway. But I usually like to only offer it to people that are also going to join in the Discord because it helps tie the community together a little bit better if, you know, we're all coming together to help support each other, and definitely be very much willing to share that link within Discord, which I think is already in there anyway, but if not, you can
It's
message
pinned.
me. Huh? Yeah,
It's pinned
it's
in
pinned now,
one of
so
the
you can
channels.
get it. When's the next PvP tournament? That's a good question. So obviously we've super focused on Tanares RPG campaign, and the sample. I guess the more interesting thing of that is what's coming up here soon after. So the PvP tournament will definitely be doing what I've been calling Season 2 PvP tournament, but that probably won't happen until maybe closer to. And there's a lot of logistics and things that go into the PvP tournament, including basically begging my wife to watch my child for like weeks on end because it just turns into me like officiating and doing like tons and tons of videos, but also along with all the players and trying to get everyone involved. But I'm really 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 want to do it maybe November or December. Um, but it also kind of depends on like Dragori's timeline as well, because I'm really 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 hoping here we're going to be able to show you guys some Tanares Adventures content maybe in this next month. I can't really say a ton about it right now, but it's on the horizon. Um, and if anything, we'll be able to show you what Tanares Adventures looks like, what some of the components are going to look like, and this is all going to be in Tabletop Simulator. It's not going to be like in real life because obviously I'm in the U.S. Dragori is all based in Brazil, so I don't have anything physically in front of you. I'm just showing you what's in Tabletop Simulator, but you'll be able to see it then. But try not to get me in trouble with this one because it's still kind of on the hush hush, and but it's coming. It's coming, guys. I'm working hard to make sure that you guys all can see the amazing game that's coming. It's it's gonna be pretty different, but it's really good. It's really good. We'll talk about it more later. All right, question on Tanares Adventures. Will combat use arena battle maps? Are you referring, when you say battle maps, do you mean like the add-on that's in the RPG, or um, do you mean something else?
And which Tanares Adventures he wants to know, because technically speaking, we have board game and RPG
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like
with the
maybe
same name.
he's asking like, is any of the Tanares Adventures like uh, battles going to use like maps that were made in Arena the Contest? Um, As far as I know, I don't think so. But Dragori has suggested um, that maybe they're going to apply some of the Tanares Adventures rules into Arena of the Contest. So let's kind of have to see what happens with that. Know the adventures. How will combat work? Oh, yeah, I can't go into that. I wish I could. We'll get to that hopefully in the next month. I hope we can get something out at least in like the next month, if not like maybe a couple weeks, but we'll see. I can't promise you anything on that, but I really want to show you what they've already come up with. Any map from board game could be, yeah, exactly. Okay. Anyway, if there's not any other big questions here, I gotta get out of here. But I really appreciate all your guys' support coming in here, throwing your questions down. Um, and keep it coming. I mentioned to people in Discord earlier, if there's something that maybe you're not like super crazy about, or you want more clarification, make sure to ask in the comments. In the campaign page or in Discord, because Dragori does watch a lot of this stuff, and so they're getting those feedback. So anyway, we will follow up here soon next week. Hold on, I'll talk to you soon. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys' support. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done that. And we will definitely see you at the next one. Thanks, everyone.